Okay, hello everyone. Welcome, welcome. 皆さんこんばんは。見えていますか？聞こえていますか？前回の時は私がミュートでしたが、今回は大丈夫そうですね。はい。では、始めたいと思います。Hello, my name is Madeline, and this is the Cafetalk English Tutor Introduction live stream. The format of this live stream is a bit more casual than our other online seminars or symposiums. Just like last time, this time I'm also operating the software myself. So if there are small technical hiccups, please understand it's just me running the show right now. And today our guest is Linda, who I will call over in just a second. And I'll say the same again in Japanese and then switch back to English again. それではカフェトーク英語講師とおしゃべりライブ配信を開始したいと思います。カフェトークスタッフです。マレーンと言います。こちらは、の配信は、例えばセミナーやシンポジウムよりちょっとカジュアルな配信です。配信ソフトの裏の設定もすべて私が一人でやっていますので、もしちょっとトラブルがあるかもしれませんが、ご了承ください。今日のゲストは南アフリカの首都ケープタウンに住んでいるリンダ先生です。では、リンダさんもようこそ。Hello, Linda!
Hi, how are you, Madeline?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
A bit more introduction I want to do. One important thing is that all participants in the chat who post comments in the chat while we're talking, who post questions or just something they find interesting, will have a chance to get a ticket for a free lesson with you, so paid by Cafetalk. And so I just want to remind students about that. 皆さん、ライブ配信中コメントを書き込んでくださった方の中から抽選で今日紹介するリンダ先生のレッスンに使える無料チケットが与えます。コメント投稿をお待ちしております。And if you have any questions, just send them our way. We'll check them as they come in, and I'll read them to Linda. なので、もしわからないところとか、ちょっと質問がありましたら、ぜひ英語でも日本語でも大丈夫なので、チャットに書いてください。Okay, so let's get started. I got great responses from you, and I've made a little presentation just like last time. Okay, here we go. I can go through this. You can also, so if you want to click back, you can do that with the little arrows at the top. So let's get started. We have your quick profile and then something about your lessons. Who are you? And at the end, we also have some Cafetalk news.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, can you start by introducing yourself to the students?
Certainly. My name is Linda, and I live in one of the most beautiful cities in South Africa, in the world, in fact. I can see the ocean from my one-bedroom window, and I can see the mountains on the other side. So I live on the plateau between the mountains and the sea. So it's very beautiful. And
that definitely sounds beautiful.
And I love teaching English. I was an office manager before I retired. And when I retired, I had a friend who said, come on, let's do English teaching online. And I fell in love with it. And that was in 2016. And I just love teaching English to students. I really, really do. I learn so much on a daily basis from the students. So, yeah. And then I've got cats. I've got one cat and 4 dogs. And they are really, really super. And I'm also a dog sitter. And today I have 3 dogs here. I've got a little schnauzer and I've got 2 little Yorkies that I look after. And they came in at about 6 this morning and they're going to leave at 11 tonight. So I look after them all day. And what else can I tell you? I love fresh, simple food. It doesn't have to have lots of spices in it. I just I eat a lot of vegetables. I'm very healthy. I'm already 71 and I have no issues with my health at all. So I'm very lucky and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm sure that is thanks to eating lots of good food then. So let me just quickly summarize it in Japanese. そうですね、リンダさんはケープタウン出身で、海の間と、山の間にある町なんですが、まさかリンダ先生の、今いらっしゃる部屋の、窓からは、両方も、山も、海も見えます。そして、好きな動物と、何ですかという質問がありましたが、猫1匹と、犬4匹を飼っています。で、ドッグシッター、もやっていますので、そうですね、お散歩代行とかお世話代行、そういう仕事もしているようです。そして好きな食べ物は、シンプルで、新鮮な、そうですね、食べ物なので、はい、そのおかげで、はい、今もとても元気です。Okay, let's go to the next one. So yeah, I think it helps students to kind of get an idea about other countries if they can kind of compare it to Japan. So I found this really fun website where you can do that. And yeah, this is the size comparison. So looks like from Cape Town to Johannesburg, it's about the same as the main island of Japan. Yeah, so that's really interesting. Have you
Yes.
traveled around the country a lot?
Around South Africa, yes, certainly. And we have lots and lots of beautiful places. But the Cape is definitely the best, and it's a world tourist attraction. We have many, many activities from drinking wine and eating good food and also going shark cage diving, going scuba diving, what do you call that? Flying off the mountains with a, what do you call
Ah,
that?
yeah, not bungee jumping, the other one. Yeah, like
The flying one.
yeah.
Yes, no, we have bungee jumping in our country too. Our country
Mhm.
is very diverse. Our cultures are very diverse. We have many issues because of our dark history.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you very much. そうですね、ちょっと、南アフリカと日本の、国の大きさを、比較できるために、この画像を出したんですが、そうですね、首都のケープタウンから、もう一つの大きい町、ヨハネスブルクまでは、大体、今ちょっと名前忘れちゃったんですけど、日本の一番大きい島と同じサイズみたいですね。で、リンダさんに聞いてみたら、国内でもいろんなところに、旅したことがあるようで、とてもどこでも食べ物が美味しくて、特にワインに南アフリカも有名なので、ワインも飲んだり、いろんな、そういう、山を登ったりとかもいろいろできますので、はい。とてもいろんなことができる国です。はい。そうですね。次に移動します。Let's go to the next one. So, yeah, you mentioned your own pets. I hope I got a couple of photos. I just put them on. I'm not sure which are your
No,
own and
they're
which
all
were
correct.
the ones you're
Yes,
not sitting. So,
yeah,
please tell me more.
right. The big fat white cat is the queen of the household, and she keeps all the dogs in place. She never gives in to any dogs, even if they're visitors. So she's in charge. And then our little grey
Mhm.
schnauzer, she's very lovable but very silly. She's a silly dog. And then we've got our Topsy, the sausage dog or Dachshund. He's very
Mhm.
sensitive, a lovely dog, very, very nice animal, very, very nice. And then Daisy is the little Pekingese. We adopted her when she was 13 years old.
Mhm.
So she's been with us for a few years now, and she's really she demands a lot of attention, but she's gorgeous. And then Fluffy also came to us as a rescue. her daddy had a brain tumor and didn't know if he was going to live, and he asked us to take her on. And that's about our pets. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Would you say that's what one of my colleagues asked me before I did this live stream? Are there like typical dog breeds, for example, that are super popular in South Africa, or like do people usually own more big or small dogs? Is there anything like that?
Oh, naughty dogs, sorry.
No
They
problem.
don't normally bark. My daughter must be home. Anyway, Schnauzers seem to be very popular at the moment, and Maltese certainly are very popular. But we have a lot of mixed breed dogs that are rescues mostly. So, yeah, these dogs all happen to be purebred, but I don't think we'll do that again. The cat is a rescue. I got her when she was 2 years old, and she's about 9 now. So she's a lovely little girl. She talks to me. She tells me
She
she
looks
wants
really
fresh
cute.
water. Yes, yes. All the dogs are very, very special. They all sleep with me at night. So they're like my children. So thank you.
Ah, that's so cute. Yes. So thank you for sharing them with us. And then in the next photos you send me, that's dog sitting dogs then?
Those are dogs because my daughter is a dog groomer, and those are dogs that she's groomed. And so that's just my daughter with her dogs that she's groomed. That the one on the bigger picture is, I think it's a Labradoodle.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Looks very fluffy. Yeah.
yes, and they're difficult to groom because they've got curly hair and they've got big bodies. So it's not like a poodle; it's big, and all those dogs are all big. You can see from the background there how pretty it is. That I think they must be in the dog park. We have a dog park where the dogs are allowed to go off lead and allowed to run freely, and it has a beautiful river that comes from the mountain that the dogs are allowed to swim in. So they have a lot of fun in that pretty park.
Ah,
There
that's
we
so
are.
nice. Lovely. Thanks again for sharing all the cute photos with
Mm.
us.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, let's go to questions about you. So I asked you about a film or a TV series or a book or just something you recently enjoyed.
Mm. Yes, I watch a lot of documentaries, particularly current crimes. I like to see the psychology behind these people, and I enjoy watching programs on body language. But I also love watching gardening and cookery, those kind of things. So I don't have a real favorite. Oh, and of course, people renovating houses in different countries. I also enjoy that a lot. And yeah, I'm just curious about the way people behave. And I've got this book that I often refer to. It's called Finding Japan. I worked for a Japanese company, and my boss was Japanese. And I worked for Kawakami-san for 3 years, and then he went back to Japan to retire. But I continued working with the company, and I used to look after I was the personal assistant for the trainees. And over 10 years, I had 5 trainees from Japan, young men, that I would just look after their visas and their flights and things like that. And what else was there? Something I studied. I love studying, and I've studied to become an IELTS coach, a TOEFL coach, and also a PTE, Pearson's English coach, exam coach. So there we are.
Nice. So
Okay.
the students can also study for these tests with you, like IELTS and TOEFL.
Yes, yes, and I really enjoy it because the skills that we've been taught to teach the students are lifelong. You'll never ever read a story the same way again because of the tips that we give you. to be able to, because these exams are difficult, they're not easy.
Yeah, I haven't taken IELTS. I've only taken TOEIC, I think. So yeah, they're all quite differently structured. But yeah, it's so important to study with someone who understands the structure of the test, so you're prepared well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what else
Okay,
is
thank you
there?
very much.
I think that's all, isn't it?
Yeah, let me just give a quick summary again. So, そうですね。趣味、どんな映画とか、本、テレビドラマとかが好きなのかを聞いてみたんですが、YouTube でいろんなドキュメンタリーを見るのが好きらしくて、で特に、ボディランゲージ、についての、動画とか、クライムについての映画とかは好きみたいです。で、そして他の趣味は、料理を作ったりとか、ベーキングらしいですね。で、最近、勉強したこと、は、IELTS とか TOEFL とか、そういう試験の、対策、のレッスンができる、ための勉強をしたりしてたので、もしそういう試験をこれから、取りたい方がいましたら、ぜひ、リンダ先生のレッスンを見てください。Okay. And then I wanted to find out more about famous people from South Africa. So I'm sure the students have heard about Nelson Mandela, but yeah, can you just quickly say a little bit about him?
Yes, he was a leader, and unfortunately he couldn't lead for a very long time because of his age. He was in jail for so many years, but he was a very a man of humanity. He was really, really very human, and he embraced everybody. And our culture and our history is very, very bad. Not our culture, sorry, our history is a sad history, and we're overcoming it. However, it's still there are many issues to face. Nelson Mandela always maintained that we should spread love everywhere. It takes nothing to smile at somebody or to greet somebody. And that's my philosophy in life. I can talk to anybody, whether you're a president or whether you're a cleaner. All you're going to do is smile and say, "Good morning, how are you today?" And it just changes everything for me, certainly. And another famous saying of Nelson Mandela's was, "It always seems impossible to do till it's done." And that's so true. Sometimes we think, "Oh, how are we going to do this?" And we start working on it and it gets done.
That's so true, yeah. And I think sometimes it seems like things will never change, and then it's like it just needs a drop of something, and then things do change. So I think that's
Yes,
also an important thing to keep in mind, especially if things
yes,
are a bit dark in the world sometimes.
yes, for sure. And I think that, and then, yeah, and I just love living in Cape Town. I'm very grateful I live here. It's a beautiful place to live, and the weather is nice. In summer, we have mostly sun, and in winter, we do have quite a lot of rain. We have a Mediterranean type climate. So we grow lots of grapes, lots of olives, lots of fruits, soft fruits, apples, pears, all in our region. Within 200 kilometers, we have about 400 wine farms and about 150 wineries where they make the wine. So it's it's a very productive area and very exciting to visit.
Nice. Yeah, and I've definitely seen South African wine even in Japanese supermarkets as well. So I think the students probably have had it as well. Yeah. そうですね。皆さんも、きっとご存知の方だと思いますが、ネルソン・マンデラ、という方なんですが、しばらく何年間、南アフリカの国の、トップだったんですが、 その、ちょっと暗い歴史とかも南アフリカはありますが、やはりこういう、素敵な方が、いたので、今でも、リンダさんも、彼の言ったこと、先ほど英語でも言いましたが、It always seems impossible until it's done. 何かをやるまでは、無理だと思うかもしれないんですけど、できてしまう結局、という言い方があって、それも自分のモットーにしています。そして、彼女が住んでいるケープタウンは、とても綺麗な、街で、そして、街の周りにもいろんな、農業、のところがあって、例えば、南アフリカのワインもきっと皆さんご存知だと思いますが、美味しいワインがあったりとか、他に美味しい食べ物もたくさん、街の近くにありますので、もしいつか行ける、機会がありましたら、ぜひ行ってみてください。Okay, so and more about your lessons. So you mentioned this a little bit in the beginning as well, but you were motivated to become an English teacher together with a friend, basically, when you retired, right?
That's right, yes. And once I started learning, I was hooked and I loved it. And my lessons are normally quite a lot of fun because I find that Japanese people are very reserved and they're very nervous. And I try to get them to relax, and I do an exaggerated and I make them do it with me, and we have a laugh, and then they relax. So, and I always like to give them a little bit more information. For instance, if we have quite and quiet, I explain the differences to them. Stationary and stationary. Stationary that we write with is with an E, but a stationary car is with an A because it's car, C-A-R. So that is what the kind of silly little things I teach them, but that makes a difference when they are writing or speaking to people if they say quiet or quite. So those are the kind of things I like to do, and I love sharing information and I love pronunciation. I speak very slowly, naturally. I don't speak quickly. I don't use contractions very much. I do, but not a lot. In formal speaking and teaching, I try and do it without contractions. But yes, and I'm relaxed about it, and I'm willing to try anything the student would like me to. And I research it, and then the next lesson we discuss it. That's it. I'm
Okay, yeah.
flexible and
Yeah. I
patient.
think that's a lovely thing about online lessons too, that you can be that flexible and the students can voice what they want to do, and it's easy for you to adapt to that. So that's the fun thing about it for sure. そうですね。彼女は、引退してたら、お友達と一緒に、二人で英語の先生になりましょうという、のを決めて、で、一緒に勉強して、で、今、英語の先生になりましたが、自分のレッスンの中では、生徒さんが、できるだけ、緊張しないように、楽しく一緒にレッスンやったり、ジョークしたりしてます。で、英語の文法とか単語の中でも、似てる単語でも違う意味とか違う使い方いろいろありますが、先ほどのいろんな例も、出してくれたんですが、それも細かく説明したり、いつどの言葉を使うのかとか、詳しく説明しています。で、もし生徒が何か質問があったりとか、こういうふうにレッスンをしてほしいとかのがあれば、何でも対応できるので、そういう質問があればぜひ、聞いてください。And yeah, so you offer a variety of lessons. As we can, it's small on my screen here,
Yes.
but as we can see on here, yeah. So the test prep, the exam prep that we talked about, conversation, business English. Is there anything you want to add about these lessons in particular?
Only that in terms of business English, I do research the terms that they need for their specific area of business, because, as you know, law and retail are very different. Their terms are very, very different. So I always make sure that if the person tells me that they're in sales, that we find something in sales and we go through the vocabulary. I'm also very fond of reading the local newspaper, Mainichi Shimbun, with students, because it gives them current events and they can relate to it. And as a result, we pick out key phrases, we pick out key words, and then we paraphrase. So I try to give the students the best value for their lessons. And I want them to go away and think, wow, I learned something today.
Great, thank you very much. そうですね、ビジネスレッスンの場合は、生徒さんの仕事によって、専門用語とかも違うかもしれないので、それは、前に準備したり、その方の、規模に合わせます。で、会話レッスンなのかな、それか、多分ここに出ていないかもしれない、新聞の記事を一緒に読む、レッスンもあるらしいんですが、その場合は、例えば、毎日新聞とか、日本の新聞の英語版を使って、生徒さんがすでに知ってる内容、もしかして日本語ですでに読んだ内容を英語でもう一度一緒に読んで、そしてそれについて話すという、スタイルのレッスンもあります。そしてこの、画像にも出てるんですが、試験対策ももちろんあります。Okay, so you would say the lesson students should first book if they don't know where to start would be your free conversation lesson?
Yes, for sure, because that I would then ask them questions and see how they answer. And depending on the level that they answer at, then we could discuss what needs what their goals are and where they want to go. Because if they're studying for IELTS, it's important to know that from the beginning. But if they just want to talk or read, then free conversation is great. And I have many topics to talk on, and I'm always willing to learn as well because I'm also curious.
Nice. So even if the student doesn't know what to talk about, you would have topics that you provide?
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. Because, I've got a list of topics, and one that I like talking about is emotions. Emotions and feelings, and or colors. If the person is younger, I like to talk about colors because people can't always. Men will tell you pink is pink, but women will tell you 5 different versions of pink. So yes, it's an interesting subject, and also the news is always interesting. And the topic in Japan, because I read the newspaper on a daily basis, I'm easily able to speak to them about what's happening in the government, or about my number, or about the skater that just won her third Olympic gold. So, those kind of things are, because of the newspaper, I could talk freely and confident about talking about the subject.
Okay, wonderful. もし皆さん、レッスンをちょっと申し込みたいんだけど、どのレッスンから、スタートすればいいのか、気になるところがあれば、リンダさん的には、やはり、英語のフリーカンバセーションがおすすめです。で、その中で、生徒が、好きなテーマについて話してもいいし、もし、何について話せば英語で特にそうですね、何について30分も話せばいいのか、ちょっと緊張してしまう方も中にいると思いますが、その場合は、リンダさんはいろんなトピックもすでに用意していて、例えば、エモーション、感情について話すとか、あと、もっと、若い生徒の場合は、色について話したりとか、それか、先ほども話したように、新聞記事について、最近日本 にあったこと、彼女はやはり、新聞の英語版をたくさん読んでいますので、いろいろも知っていますので、それについて日本人と、もし日本人じゃない方でも、ぜひ話してみたいと言っています。Okay. Also, just want to check our chat. We have one student saying "konbanwa," good evening. So, good evening to everyone watching right now. もし他に何か質問があれば、ぜひいつでもチャットに書いてください。If you have any questions, feel free to also write them in the chat, so I can ask them live while Linda is here, or you can ask them yourself when you speak to her later, hopefully. So yeah, about your lesson availability, the time difference right now is between South Africa and Japan. I think is it still 7 hours? I might have. Okay. I wasn't sure if I looked this up before, like summer winter time switch or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere it does change, but it's 7 hours at the moment still.
Okay, great. And most days you're available in Japan time from 3:30 to 6:30, or then a bit later from 9 to midnight Japan time. So really flexible, especially for busy students who might get home late. And then students should definitely check out your profile also for some discount coupons. So that's always good to have a look at. And students can either go to the URL here, cafetalk.com/tutor/search, and just type in your name or scan this QR code and then go to your profile directly. もし先生のプロフィールを確認したければ、左側の QR コードをスキャンしてすぐプロフィールに飛べますので、ぜひ飛んでみてください。Okay. And I'll give the students a bit of an introduction to the other events we're doing right now, and then I'll come back to you again. So it's just me for a little bit, and then we'll go back to Linda. では皆さんに最近のカフェトークイベントもちょっと紹介したいと思います。So let's have a look. One big special thing this week is we're having an additional Cafetalk day. So usually those are on the 19th of every month. And this month we have a special one on the 29th. But it's a bit different. Usually it's for general lessons that are on that day. This time it's only for online standby lessons. So those are lessons where you can check which tutors are online right now and then start a lesson with the tutor immediately. So if you have time to check out online standby this Friday on the 29th, then you can get 30% of the points back after the lesson has been completed. 毎月の、19日にカフェトークの日がありますが、今月だけ、特別に29日にも、カフェトークの日おかわり、というタイトルで、今すぐレッスンだけでポイントバックがもらえるキャンペーンをやっていますので、もし時間がありましたら、今週の金曜日、その金曜日1日いつでもいいんですが、今すぐレッスン、オンラインスタンバイという、機能を使って、その即レッスンを、やってみたら、後でポイントバック 30% オフがもらえます。And next up, we have a seminar where a tutor from Hungary will talk about Hungary and about the country, the culture, the food, and that is on April 1st, so check that out as well. 次は4月1日に、ハンガリー出身の講師がハンガリーについて、文化について、食事について、いろいろについて話してくれるセミナーがあります。And thenまだ、ブッククラブ、もありますので、始まったばかりですね。今、期間中なんですが、いろんな先生が、選んだ、おすすめの本、のレッスンとかがあったり、そして無料で聴けるラジオ、もありますので、ぜひ、ブッククラブのページもご覧ください。So we still have this book club event ongoing. A lot of tutors have lessons that are connected to certain books for different ages, different topics that you can read together with them or find out more by booking the lesson. So check out our book club as well. And then, of course, the online standby tool itself, you can always book a lesson through online standby if you have a bit of extra time in the evening or on the weekend and you just want to talk a little bit to tutor and practice your English for a bit. You can see who's online at this moment. もし、今からちょっと時間あるので、ちょっとレッスンやってみたいなと思った方は、本当にいつでも今すぐレッスンが、できますので、その機能をもし使ったことがない方がいれば、ぜひ今週の金曜日、それか金曜日に時間がなければもちろん他の日にも使えますので、ちょっと覗いてみてください。Okay, so let's go back. And yeah, I just want to remind everyone again to check out your profile. They can scan again this code or look for your name and find you there. And is there anything else you want to mention about your lessons or your upcoming availability or any message to the students?
Well, I'd just love to be able to teach you English, and I promise you, it's my promise to you, that you will enjoy the lessons with me, and I will always offer you a variety, and I'm very flexible. I'm open to your suggestions as well, so I can learn too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I hope the students will check out your lessons and maybe tell you that they've seen you during this live stream. That would be really fun.
Thank you. That would be lovely. Thank you very much for having me.
And yes, just to add on, we have another one of these events next week. This one is also on Wednesday. We're moving from country to country next time. It's the US, and we'll be talking to Tutor Isabel. So I hope to see all of you then as well. 来週もこの講師紹介配信、やりますので、もし時間がありましたら4月3日、19時、日本時間19時に、アメリカ出身のイサベル先生と話します。その時もぜひよろしくお願いします。Okay, so yeah, all that's left to do for us is say goodbye to the students. And thank you very much, Linda, for your time. And have a great rest of your day. Goodbye,
Okay,
everyone.
thank you. Bye-bye.